Thank you, Chairman Conrad. Mine is not related to the appointee, but mine is more so related to the past practice or the past salary during the previous administration. Can anyone tell me what the full-time city attorney earned last year? Okay. So $139,000. Okay. And that person was employed full-time that was their sole responsibility. So I think and this more so goes to Mr. Brown's motion, we would be looking at approximately a $60,000 raise annualized, or if we were to make that a FTE, a full-time equivalent, if we raise it to $100,000, well, if we raise it to $100,000 on a part-time basis. So just based upon that, I would not be in support of your motion, Mr. Brown, because we're essentially saying on a full-time basis, this person would be on a full-time equivalent basis, would be the highest paid city employee. So I would not approve that.
I respond to that, Chair. Sure. Let me respond to that, Councilman Artavius Jones. I've seen a lot of lawyers come in here underpaid. I've seen Herman Morris underpaid. He was definitely underpaid. They work night and day on the cases that they have to deal with, as well as Alan Wade, underpaid. The thing is that what I'm saying is a lawyer's work is never finished. We got 70,000 employees, maybe 600 to 800 employees, right, or maybe every employee in the city attorney is responsible for. Every person up on this council, the council's attorney is responsible for you. Get in some jams. I've been in a lot of them. Hadn't been from Alan Wade, I probably went south. He's a good concierge, I can tell you that, he is. That's for me. But at the same time, there's a lot of, let me just give you guys a little ethics. There's a lot of little touchy things that you can get into. And it's going to take a good attorney to make sure that he can present it properly, even to the Ethics Commission, even to a judge. Been there, done that. Good lawyers need to be retained. Can't pay them enough for what they do. Their home life don't be good because they got to think about your case 24/7. We got a lot of issues going now in our law enforcement division. We're gonna need all the attorneys that we can have. Because one thing I like about outside our different divisions, people who's coming after the city, they're prepared. They get the best. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I had one additional question before we moved on. Do I have enough time to?
You do. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, Councilman Jones.
My next question is, as it relates to professional services, would that still be an item that would come before the council if the city attorney is dealing or using outside counsel for any type of work?
Councilor Wade, could you address that, please?
Technically, the city attorney determines how cases are assigned. That is his charter responsibility. What your role is you will be presented with a budget in April by the new mayor. That is where you look at the complement, and also one segment of the budget is outside counsel. You will approve that budget, and that's where you will be, given edification about how that works and who is used and whatever. But at this point, that budget has already been approved, and they have to work within it until you give them a new budget.
Okay. Well, if you could address this for me, Mr. Wade, how would we address any particular conflicts that may exist, considering that the current city attorney will still be employed, technically still employed by the firm in which he's currently employed?
We've had some history in that regard. When Attorney Robert Spence was employed, he was still a member of the Hardison Law Firm, and I believe our ethics ordinance today prevents that city attorney from referring work to himself or to his firm. There probably are exceptions, and if they are, they would have to be appointed as special counsel with the concurrence of this body. So I'm pretty confident, and I don't, you can ask him his opinion, but I've discussed it with him, and I think he understands your concern and the public's concern for that to occur. But from time to time, I remember when I was a member of that firm for 27 years, incidentally, that we had a patent case. The only competent patent attorney in the city was in that firm. So there are times when you have to go to that firm, and I would believe the prudent action would be for that person to be employed as special counsel at the recommendation of the mayor and approval of the council to avoid any conflict that would place the city attorney in. So I think there is mechanisms and there are procedures for accomplishing and protecting what you have a concern about at this point.
Well, yeah, I was aware of the precedent that had been set, that we had part-time counsel in this capacity. But I don't think that we can. I was seeking guidance as we move forward, not necessarily look at what the past practices has been. So just to clarify, what you're saying is that any time that hypothetically that there could be another patent case and the most qualified patent attorney happens to be with Baker Donaldson, that before, and you're saying we only approve the budget, we don't necessarily approve the outside counsel. Such a matter would have to come before this council before that is before
we have an ordinance that was adopted that provides for employment of counsel to perform extraordinary services. That ordinance was prompted by Myron Lowry when we found out that there was some litigation involving the police department's actions on TV or something like that. So there is a mechanism in place to require the council approval if you go outside and make an extraordinary assignment of that kind. If it's routine matters, no. Mr. McMullen can speak to it himself. I'm not trying to pigeonhole him and make any decisions for him. He's the city attorney. I'm not. But I would think, out of an abundance of caution, if that assignment were to be made, I would suggest and recommend that he obtain the approval of someone other than himself to get that done.
Thank you.
You can let him speak to that. I'm not trying to tell the city attorney what to do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. Councilwoman Swearingen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to call for the question.
Okay, the question has been called, so please cast your vote for special item 1. A yes vote is for Councilman Brown's resolution to increase the compensation by $10,000. A no vote is to go as Mayor Strickland originally proposed. Please cast your vote, council members.
Boyd, no. Brown, yes. Colvett, no. Ford, yes. Fully Love, no. Hedgepeth abstained. Jones, no. Morgan, no. Morrison, no. Robinson, no. Spinoza, abstained. Swearingen, no. Chairman Conrad, no.
That item fails, so we're back to the main motion.